everyone, it's Maisy, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about our interns meeting with Dr. Kennedy. So Dr. Kennedy's lab studies aquatic insects, which basically is any insect where all or part of their life cycle is underwater. Some examples of these would be mosquitoes, or mayflies, or stoneflies. And while I'd never really thought about it before this meeting, these aquatic insects are really important parts of aquatic ecosystems, particularly streams or rivers. The aquatic insects can really make or break the whole ecosystem. So we were lucky enough to get to speak to a few of the people working in his lab about their research projects, so I'll just go through a brief description of 3 of those. So the first person we got to hear from was Sabrina Moore. She investigates invasive salmonids in Chile and how they affect aquatic insects. Now, salmonids are salmon or trout, basically types of fish in that family. And so how they actually got to Chile was from fish farms. So I don't know if you know this, but some of the fish we eat comes from fish farms, which are basically people raising small contained ponds of fish, almost like an outdoor aquarium. And sometimes these fish get out. There's basically a lot of ways invasive species can happen, but this is one of the most common ones for salmon or trout because they're both very commonly raised in fish farms. And so when these fish get out and they start becoming part of the ecosystem and eating the animals, sometimes they're too effective in the ecosystem. So these salmonids were going into the rivers and streams and they were eating the littler fish at like crazy rates and then eating the aquatic insects. And so their very presence was really affecting the aquatic insects. And in that way, these insects were serving as a really good indicator of the environment and how it was being affected by these invasive species. So the next person we heard from was Mandy Hannibal. Now she actually looks at spiders who have been eating aquatic insects and observes the mercury concentrations within these spiders to try and estimate how much mercury is in the aquatic insects. Now this might remind you of one of my other videos about our meeting with Dr. Roberts, who also studied mercury concentrations in aquatic organisms. However, this one is focused on insects obviously instead of fish. So Mandy would collect these spiders, which often will even build their webs over a small pond of water. And then as the aquatic insects, like for example, if a mosquito is coming out of its larval state in the water, it will fly out and the spider catches it as it goes. So the spider is actually collecting a lot of the aquatic insects from this body of water. So then, because of this, it's really easy for her to look at the spider and look at the mercury inside the spider and make a very accurate estimate about how much mercury is in the insects and therefore in the water. This just shows another way aquatic insects can be used as bioindicators for things that are affecting a body of water. Lastly, we heard from Jennifer Mittelhauser, who is studying how the presence of cattle can affect different sizes and types of ponds or even lakes on a farm. So overall, what I really learned from talking to Dr. Kennedy and the members of his lab was about how important aquatic insects are to the ecosystem. I personally had never really considered aquatic insects or macroinvertebrates as being very important, but they're actually the staple of the ecosystem and they serve as many animals' prey in addition to their scientific purposes as bioindicators. So I would just like to thank Dr. Kennedy and everyone in his lab again. Thank you so much for talking to us, and thank you for watching this video. Bye!